Hey guys, welcome back to the next video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Richard for WELSHYTECH, and today we have the Antec Flux rear PC case. Is it one of the best in 2025? Let's find out, shall we? When it comes to the front I/O, it is a power button, a reset button. It has two USB 3.0 ports. It has a one Type-C 3.2 Gen 2 10 gigabit Type-C port, as well as a headphone and microphone jack. When it comes to the actual motherboard support in this case, it has quite a plethora of actual support. It does support ATX, micro ATX as well as ITX, but also does support the back connector motherboard, and I will make sure to put the list of what they actually support in the video because they have got a number of them and they are supporting more back connector motherboards. This does have 7 PCI slots, so it is classed as a mid-tower. When it comes to actual fans included, well, it does come with two 140mm ARGB fans included at the front. Then it does have two also included 120 reverse fans at the bottom. When it comes to actual fan support, it does support a 360 on the top. It supports a 280, a 240, as well as three 120mm fans on the top. The rear does also support a 120mm fan. And of course, I did mention there's included 140s in the front, but obviously it does support two 140mm fans at the front. So when it comes to the max GPU length, it does have a max GPU length of 400mm. Max CPU cooler height is 180mm. Max power supply length is 170mm without the cable. When it comes to dust filtration, it does come with a large magnetic dust filter at the bottom. The front of the case has an open mesh style metal grill, which is easy to pull. All you do is you pull it from the bottom and it comes out just like that. Same thing with the top panel. It is a mesh with a mesh metal grill, and to take this off, you pull this tab and it lifts off from the top. As for the back panel, well, there's loads of points for cable management. These are front connectors here. There's loads of cable tie points here to actually do cable management. When it comes to the drives, it does support a 3.5-inch drive, so that's a hard drive, or 2.5-inch drive SSDs. And you also do get an included GPU support bracket, which I find very cool. This is the included accessories. You do get a fan splitter, get fan screws, you do get the motherboard assorted of cable ties as well as the motherboard screws, you do get the manual as well as another 140mm fan for the rear of the case, which is quite cool. Okay, so that's the actual overall specs of this case. Now let's build a computer in this and see how good the thermals are. So make sure you continue to watch. Okay, so when it comes to the overall system specifications I use for testing, well, it is a Intel Core Ultra 265K. It does have 32 gigs of Kingston DDR5. It also has a ASRock Riptide Wi-Fi motherboard. It does use a RX 7800 XT graphics card, and it also has a 2TB Gen 5 drive. It's also using the Predator 130 from Thermalright, and it does have a 1000-watt power supply from Be Quiet. This is the system specifications. Okay, so when it comes to the overall testing methods, well, I do use two different types of tests. Now, I do a 50% as well as a 100%. It'll give you a rough idea of how good the airflow is. And when it comes to the overall testing or the benchmarks I use is Cinebench R23 for the CPU, and then I use Firmark 2 for the GPU, specifically run at the same time for about 15 to 20 minutes. So, for 50% fan speed, now the CPU power draw was at 204 watts, and the Cinebench R23, the idle to 28 with a max of 80 Celsius. The GPU temperature was idle at 21 with a max of 61. The GPU hotspot was idle at 26 with a max of 88. The GPU junction temp was an idle at 42 with a max of 76 Celsius, and the GPU power draw was high at 273 watts. Now, when it comes to the 100% fan speed, this is all the fans except for the GPU. That stays at stock during both tests. So, the CPU power draw was exactly the same, 204 watts, and the Cinebench R23, the idles are 28 with a max of 76 Celsius, already come down when it comes to CPU thermals. The GPU temperature was an idle at 24 with a max of 60. The GPU hotspot was an idle at 30 with a max at 87, and the GPU junction temp was the idle at 46 with a max of 76 Celsius. Now, the GPU power draw was the exact same at 273 watts. So, what do you think of that? Now, what I'm going to actually give you, first of all, is my overall opinion in this case. Now, I like the white accent. I like that it does have 5 included fans. Yes, it does have another 140 fan included, which I do show during the video. The airflow in this is quite good. The overall build construction, the plastics, the overall metal construction is very, very nicely built as well. There's no or little to no flex on any of the panels, which is a very good thing, especially when you're spending £130 on a PC case. Now, the room, the space you get inside is quite good, especially for a mid-tower, and these days that's actually quite impressive because mid-towers these days, they range from all different sizes, but this one I think is a very good middle ground when it comes to a mid-tower case. It's not too big and it's not too small, which is very good. Now, I do like the included GPU bracket. I like the fact that it does come with reverse fan blades. Now, I do like the fact that it also has a lot of support for GPUs, that this supports 400mm GPUs, which I believe the 1590, I believe it's a 390mm fan card. Obviously, it's going to depend on which variant of the card you get, but I'm sure that is within the range, so this would fit one no problems. The CPU cooler height, of course, this does support the biggest coolers, which is 180mm. That's the overall max height it actually supports. The Predator beer from Thermalright is actually 167mm, so no, 165, sorry, millimeters. So it's on there on the cusp. It's not the biggest, but then it's not also the smallest. The overall construction of it, like I did say, is very, very well done. Now, let's get on to the back panel and see how good the cable management space is. Okay, so this is the back panel. Now, I'm not known for like exceptional cable management when it comes to like the back panel, so bear that in mind. Now, what I will say, it's got plenty of room for cables because the power supply is situated toward the front of the case, and it's also at a different angle. Instead of being straight in, it's at an angle on the side. It does actually give you a bit more leverage when it comes to the actual cables. Now, as you can see, CPU cable length, of course, that's the main ones that actually are the hardest to probably hide, but I think it does it quite well, and it's not bad. I like that it has a lot of cable tie points. It's going to be very good for especially a new user on buying a case if they want that type of support. Now, I do also like the fact it has a lot of support for the back connector motherboards. Now, there's probably going to be one thing I will say that I'm not too fond of the back. Now, I would have preferred them not include the two 120 reverse fans and included some sort of an ARGB or fan hub, because Antec do some fantastic, good quality ARGB as well as fan hubs. I think that was a missed opportunity. Yeah, I understand for airflow aspect, but reverse fans are quite relatively available. But then saying that, also are hubs as well. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on this case? Should you buy it? Well, if you're looking for a mid-tower, I think it's definitely one that you should at least consider, because it's not the biggest mid-tower, and trust me, some mid-towers can get absolutely huge. They look more like full tower. Now, like the Lee & 217, that's classed as a mid-tower case, and it's a lot bigger than this. And this one has very good room for ventilation for its footprint. So yeah, look, if you want to buy one, I will leave a link down below. I'd say a big thank you to Antec. I do appreciate the support. And as always, I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend and week ahead of you. This is Rich for WELSHYTECH. Goodbye.